Yeah, I don't brine pickles like that, but I figured if you're going to use an ingredient, you got to think outside the box. So that's what I went with.
That's I've what are we talking about? I was just not for the last we've been talking for a solid 20 minutes. I haven't been listening at all. I've been mesmerized. What's
You just hurt my feelings.
I'm sorry.
That didn't seem sincere.
Buddy.
That sealed it. The buddy sealed it. Thank you. I feel better now.
But we you did at some point here hit the button and we are live in front of
oh my god,
throngs of frothing viewers.
We really did. Oh my god, it actually worked today. We made it on the internet today.
That's right. Yeah, I was afraid you were going to say on the air, but you fixed it. You didn't.
Yes, yes. I mean, we're in the ether. We're not in the air, but
sure. Well, I'm on the ether.
That explains so much.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Stoop, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday?
A little hot, actually. It's been it was a weird fog this morning. I went down to the office today, which is fucking stupid. No one should ever do that. And it was hot. It's hot outside, and I mean, I assume there's storms happening somewhere because it's wet feeling out there. It's gross. And speaking of gross, over the last 72 hours, our buddies, the 17-year cicadas, have begun to emerge in the land of Skokie. And boy, are they fucking useless. Dumb. Those things are just food. There's going to be a lot of birds and squirrels and there's going to be a lot of animals that are going to die from eating too many of these cicadas because they got no hustle. These cicadas got no hustle. They're just, I mean, I understand they're sleepy. They've been underground for 17 years, but they can only just barely fly. Started making noise today. The skins are already everywhere, and we're not even in the thick of it yet. What about up north by you? Have you seen them yet?
Not a single one.
Really?
Not a
interesting
single one. I mean, I've been waiting. I've been looking. Nothing. Not a peep.
Well, that is how I felt. I felt left out last week because folks in the South and West burbs started posting pictures of them, and I hadn't seen a single one here yet. And I got home Sunday, and there they were.
Sick cicadas.
Terrible. What about you, bud? What else? What non-insect things do you have going on?
I don't know. Existing, I guess.
Were you just sitting in the dark all day today, or?
Yeah, it was. It really was. And this is the first time all day I've seen light in my house.
That's healthy. That's what the doctors say you ought to do, is just avoid all light at all hours of the day, and
just
you'll be happy.
Sitting in the dark and harassing people online. It's, just what I do.
It's a passion of yours.
It is.
Sure. Yeah.
It's my one true passion.
Yeah. Well, after the Passion of the Christ, of course.
Yes. Very good film.
And also with you.
Passion be with you. Oh, Stoop, we are here to do a show, aren't we?
Show? What do we? Oh, yeah, I suppose. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, days and thems, this is Talking Out Our Ass, hosted by the ever dashingly handsome Sam Reeves alongside myself, Stoop Kid. It's a talk show. Every 2 weeks, we bring on a guest. Now, here's the twist. Sam devised this clever loophole whereby we don't have to do any prep work because as of right this moment, we have no idea what this episode is going to be about. We ask the guest to come prepared with a topic that they'd like to talk about, but we also ask them not to tell us ahead of time what it is. So when we bring the guest on, when you learn what the episode's about, we're also learning, and then we have to formulate an interview off the dome, as the kids say. It's dumb, and you're dumb for watching it. Did I cover all of it?
Yes, you made sure everyone felt stupid.
Good. That's usually my goal.
Good.
Is there a guest? Did you do that part?
What day is today? Yes, I did. Yeah, I did
Good.
Okay, good. I thought it was Wednesday again. Oh my goodness. We do have a guest. Our guest today, you may have seen him on a previous episode of ASScast in the past, and you can see him on Sox Populi, read stuff he does at South Side Sox. It is our friend Tommy Barbee. Yay!
Hello, everyone.
Live studio audience.
Was that the tour?
How's it going?
That feels like forever ago now.
It was forever ago.
It was. I wasn't sure if I was allowed back. I mean, I know I've made it into the comments on occasions, but I wasn't sure if, like, just being front of camera was going to be a step too far again.
See, Tommy, you were always welcome back because I have a clip saved on our phone from your episode talking about hood dicks.
Not to be confused with honey dicks. Hood dicks is a very specific merchandising opportunity.
Not chrome hard dicks, flaccid floppy dicks.
Exactly.
See, my mind when you said hood dicks, I'm thinking of like they're wearing like loose fitting hoodies and have chains on, and they come from the wrong side of the tracks.
That's our action figure opportunity. That's
hood dicks, but it's dicks with a Z.
Exactly.
Hood dicks, yeah. In graffiti font, really go after the youth.
My wife told me, you're gonna have a guy named Tommy Barbee on. You're not even gonna wear your I Am Knuff sweater, but it's right here for you. So
we go.
There you go.
As long as it's pictured somewhere, that's what we need to do.
Barbie,
is it in your contract that there's got to be a Barbie reference anytime?
Always.
Yes. Yeah, right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I'm not expecting it is if I haven't had my coffee yet and it's like just early enough in the day where I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh, yeah. All right, cool.
Sure. Well, we here at Ass, we understand. We certainly understand not talking to you until you've had your coffee. Personally, I say, don't talk to me until I've had my mug full of cum.
He has said that.
We didn't ask yet, and so that's good. We've already killed 8 minutes. We're doing great so far.
We are doing great.
Tommy, what are we talking about today?
I have no idea. Actually, I do have an idea. I was thinking about talking about something that's been all over the news and not microplastics being stuck in everybody's balls.
Well, they're not stuck in there. They're not stuck, but
I'm getting them out.
Yeah, we're working on getting them out every day. But the problem
every
is
day, I'm doing my part, but yeah, what can you do? I wanted to talk about AI and not the Haley Joel Osment movie, but but it is the thing that is everywhere and nowhere and important and not significant at all at the same time. And I just find it a very fascinating topic that can very quickly go into deep, dark conspiracy theories that I know we all love and enjoy.
I'm a big fan of this topic. I'm glad that you've selected this. It's also it's fun to do sort of to check in on the state of AI or to do a follow-up on AI, because on my other podcast, it's called If You Have to Ask, You Don't Know. We did an episode about this, which was goddamn probably like 2 years ago, right when the Stable Diffusion stuff first hit like the general public. So this was, we're talking about like ChatGPT was still in beta.
Yep.
And people were, there was all sorts of controversy about those apps that would make AI generated versions of your face. And then people were getting mad, like, oh, you're stealing from artists, blah, blah, blah. It was like right when it first kind of started to explode. And I think that probably if folks go back and find that episode, we
look
probably
at it now. Yeah.
We probably correctly predicted that like this is going to just be ubiquitous in 2 years.
Yes.
And here we are.
And it is very much ubiquitous. And I don't think anyone realizes how baked into everything it has become. Already. Yeah.
And it seems to, and I'm concerned when I hear folks still talking about it in future tense.
Yes.
Well, when
day
AI comes along, then we'll have this. Like, no. It's here, motherfucker.
We're here.
We lost. It's over.
Yeah.
It's too late.
That's where I'm fascinated by it, because I my 9 to 5 is I work in marketing and specifically digital marketing. So I started with the advent of like social media. What the hell is this? How do we know like what to do with it? All that type of stuff. And it feels like we're there again with AI, where everybody knows that it's this thing that they have to use or will be forced to use in some way, shape, or form, but nobody knows how. And even worse, I deal with healthcare marketing. So there's that added element of healthcare practices, HIPAA compliance, PHI, all that fun stuff, where it's like we're scared to touch anything because we know ultimately any data that we type in is going to get used in
Correct.
some way, shape, or form later on. So it is something that I just find fascinating because it has touched so many different areas already. And now you have the latest version of ChatGPT with the faux Scarlett Johansson voice on it.
Oh yeah, yep.
You have the new Google AI and Microsoft launching a whole suite of laptops that have AI baked in. And it's just like we've reached that point where it is everywhere and people still don't know what the hell it is. And I just find that kind of darkly hilarious.
I mean, I think
Mhm.
Sam would agree. I think that if you don't laugh about it, you're gonna
You
have
have
a bad
to.
time.
Yeah.
And it's AI in everything right now. Like you can't I don't know how many people still use it, but Facebook, whatever, you open it up, it's like ask Meta AI what you want to do with
Right.
your Facebook. I'm like, why would I ask them to scroll mindlessly for 2 hours? I can do
It's
that on
on
my own.
fucking LinkedIn where it's like, hey, do you want
not only is it
LinkedIn's AI opinion?
I mean, not only is it on you know what, folks? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's easy to click away from that stuff. You should be asking AI's opinion of your resume at this point.
Oh
because,
yeah.
because that's who's looking at it. It's not
Yep.
people.
There's no people looking at it. It is AI and it is all
Code words.
keywords, clickbait, whatever. All that needs to be in there if you want somebody to look at your resume.
I just keep putting horny in my resume and hoping somebody will pick me.
You know, that might work at
That
this
might work.
point. Yeah,
I was gonna say that's not a bad strategy.
that's not. No.
Detecting 714 hornies in this resume.
Right. Yeah. Start adding buzzwords, multiple
Exactly.
orgasms, things like that. Stand out,
Now, Tommy, in your experience so far with AI, is there one that's just completely useless that you've tried?
I think most of it is completely useless in its current form. I think where it is useful is understanding that it's part of a bigger picture. Like, I think the intelligence that we're working with, it's like a chatbot. It's a glorified chatbot now, most of these interfaces, where it's just it's designed to take in information. It's not really designed yet to do any sort of contextual intelligence, any thoughtful information sharing or anything like that. It is really just taking in all the information available to it from the web and whatever people type into it. And I think eventually there's going to be that switch of, hey, remember all the shit that you've been entering into Chat GPT for the last 20 years trying to get it to do something? Well, it's taken all that information and everything else, and now here's this. And I think that's where the aha moment for 99% of the population will be of, oh shit, I didn't think about all the stuff that I was entering in was actually going to be used in some capacity. And some of that is happening now, but I don't think we've had that aha moment yet, which is crazy to me because like we have AI songs and all that type of stuff where it's like it's more obvious that it's getting to the point of can you decipher between what's real and what's not real? But I don't think we've really had that tipping point moment yet.
That's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, because we're still kind of in the toy phase.
We're in the yeah.
For the most part, it is still just a toy. that, oh, look at this goofy song. Somebody made a 1920s ragtime record sounding song about fucking horse cocks or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And that's all. That's
It's
all.
very novelty kind of
And
at
yet,
this point.
and I'm sure many people like me, become increasingly concerned every time someone sends me one of those things, because I'm like, boy, this is like not half bad. This is like reasonably constructed media that soon every creative will be out of a job, because these things are, like you said, just scraping everything that's already out there.
Yeah.
And we also, and we've seen how the government deals or fails to deal with technologies they don't understand, with like cryptocurrency, for instance. Everyone's 100 years old in the government, and there's just like, good luck catching up with this shit. But I think people ought to be like, this is going to be another Josh Nelson just doom and gloom episode, Sam. but I think people ought to be a little more weary, realizing that laws don't exist to AI right now.
No.
So when we talk about they're scraping data, and like what Tommy said should startle you a little bit if you haven't thought about this yet, that the healthcare providers are afraid of where they're entering private medical information, because AI is going in there and scraping that data. Yes, there's laws, there's HIPAA laws and all that stuff that governs people.
Right.
It doesn't stop AI from coming in and taking that shit. And you might think, well, why does that matter? That doesn't affect me. They can have whatever they want. I was just having this argument with my boomer ass father 2 days ago. And he's like, well, if someone's spying on me, I feel bad for him because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm like, dude, you don't get it, though.
That's not the point. Yeah.
They can collect so much data on you that they can start to influence your behavior, inception style. So you think you're making decisions, but you're really just doing what companies want you to do and buying what they want you to buy. It's
not to mention that they can then model that behavior for everyone else that fits that same demographic. And that's not that.
And that's getting more and more efficient then. Oh, you check this box and this box. Great. So we're going to play you this.
We know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that's not that different from marketing modeling that we do now, where it's like, all right, I can go back on the back end of Google and say, I want people that are between this age range, are interested in these things, and this is the product that I'm going to sell them. And I know that that's going to go to 500,000 people that are immediately going to want that thing because I put it strategically in front of them. And now with AI, you're accelerating that process.
And exactly, that's exactly right? Because you're talking about data collection, which is an issue that we're talking about. Whether or not people are hip to AI, people still aren't hip to the ramifications of data and data collection. And the fact, so we lost. Like, it's over. By the time, like, let's say the majority of the public figures out, oh, I actually want to protect my data. Not only is it too late to protect your data, AI is already creating a new version of you that's better at everything you do.
Right.
and then the companies don't have to pay that version of you. But let's just not worry about it, huh? Let's keep mining. Let's just reopen the coal mines. That's what we can do. Huh?
Bring back coal.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, even something as that I think we take for granted, like something like Spotify. Spotify has been giving less and less royalties out to artists. Part of the reason why they're doing that is because they've been ramping up their AI production houses over the course of the last 5 years, but longer than that. From the beginning, they've had it set up where they wanted to better understand the types of music that people listen to, not to inform you of what to listen to for the latest and greatest playlists, but to better understand how a computer can then mimic those sounds and that behavior and recreate music. So you have tons of music out there that haven't been made by real artists or real people. They've been generated by computers. And those are the people that are making royalties, not the original artist that might have written that song originally, not the cover, if it's a cover song, not the original version. That is where Spotify is going, because they're continuously shifting it over to more of a curation tool than an original way of accessing existing content. It's very much like the Netflix model, where it's like, once we generate enough of an audience, we can then do the content in-house. We don't have to pay anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
We
And
start
it's
churning
like
out the shit ourselves.
Start churning it out ourselves. We don't have to worry about anybody else. And it's one of those like really small examples where if you start scaling it to other things, that's where it's like, oh, I see how this is going to be a really big fucking deal now. Because if you do that for everything that we look at, whether it's commerce, whether it's our industry, like there are so many, it's a domino effect.
Mm-hmm. Sam, if you don't say more things, this is just going to get increasingly political. Like, we're headed there anyway, so I want to pace myself.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Which AI had the better career, Allen Iverson or Andre Iguodala?
Ooh, see, this is why you're here. You got to ask those hard questions.
That's a harder question than it would appear on its face. I think a lot of people reflexively say Iverson, but
Iverson had the better peak. Iguodala, I would say, had the better career overall in terms of longevity.
I think that's right. Yeah. I mean, without looking at any kind of information or
this is me totally just going off
right.
gut, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I mean, like, I don't think Iguodala ever achieved sort of I know that he was highly touted and then he kind of dealt with injuries early in his career, I think, but I don't think Iguodala ever reached, like you said, the status, the height that Iverson did, but Iguodala also won multiple championships, obviously, and
he was on 4 of those teams, right?
Yeah. And I mean, if you watch that would be fun to stack up the Iverson like career highlight reel versus the Iguodala career highlight reel, because they both had, people don't realize how many wildly athletic plays Iguodala had.
Yeah.
And throughout his career, really, I mean, he got better at shooting, and he became more of a shooter later in his career, like all the smart players do. But he
had a better second act. Yeah, he had a better second act than most basketball players end up having. Like, I mean, kind of really reconstructing his approach to the game and his career. Not many people are able to do it at that level.
Thanks, Sam.
See, you saved us from the brink. That was perfect.
Sports.
Have you texted Josh yet, Sam? What's he doing? I want to see if we can bring him back on here, because
Josh, you busy? We're talking about hopeless shit.
Yeah,
the end of the world. Let's
what's up, Josh? We're getting fucking depressing on this shit.
I mean, I've used AI tools just to make like stupid pictures and stuff, but they never turn out the way I need them to. But like I've never really gone into like the Chat GPT stuff. Like I've used Bing Chat or whatever it is for like, stupid small things like correcting paragraphs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never really like full blown like gone into an AI thing like write this for me. So I really have never actually like seen what it can do. But
like when I learned of ChatGPT like 2 years ago, like I said, it was like just launching or still even in beta, and Austin told me that it can, when he told me it could check, it could inspect and write code.
Yeah,
that was my first kind of like,
yeah,
like,
yep.
Mm-hmm. So this is the quintessential sci-fi trope where like the machine continues to better and augment itself. It no longer needs us. It can improve from within.
I think for me it was similar to that. It was when the New York Times sued the makers of ChatGPT for scraping their entire archive, and it became this weird loophole around copyright law because it's, like you said earlier, Stu,
Not a
it's
person.
not a person. So, and it's on public domain. So, it's technically legal, but not really. And
Gray
it's
area.
just like, it really opened up. That's what opened up the door to me, because it's like, it's one thing if you're talking about people actively entering things into ChatGPT and asking questions and all of that. But when you think about how it's learning and scraping not only generated content, but news, opinion pieces, like articles, creative content, everything that's out on the web, that turns into a very interesting proposition where arguably it could know everything that's out on the web right now. It's just a matter of how it interprets that data and then decides to bring that back to the end user.
And to that end, I have to admit that, like I said, when we talked about this on my other show, initially, I don't want to say I defended AI users, but I guess I did, because at the time the argument was sort of like, well, that's, you're just stealing, by scraping, let's say, classical paintings and then creating some kind of, godless amalgamation for yourself through the AI program, that's theft. And my argument was, isn't that what all art is then? Because human artists are pulling inspiration, or human artists study other previous human artists to create, you know what I mean? I think my example at the time was like Greta Van Fleet exists, and no, there's not like picketing demonstrations outside of their shows saying you're just being Led Zeppelin again in this century. You know what I mean? How dare you?
Yeah.
Because people understand that music is, you grew up listening to something and maybe you want to make something based on that thing. And I think there's something to that, but it doesn't make it any less uncomfy.
True.
Thinking about everything that AI has access to, because you said it's everything on the web, and that's like, people need to assign the weight that phrase deserves, because I don't know, folks at home, I don't know if you know this, the web is big.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about how much computing power is being generated just to understand, interpret, and basically regurgitate human thought and what exists, like that is so much processing power for basically one set of tasks at any given time. But I mean, to your question, I agree that I think, at least for now, I think that is a very sensible way of approaching it, because it's impossible to avoid AI at this point. Like, it's everywhere. Like, if you have an Android phone, it's built into your Android phone, where if you are editing a picture, it's using AI to edit that picture. Like, that's a given. So I think it is a matter of, at this point, it is a tool that I feel like, for better or worse, we've been assigned to use. And as long as we are not using it to the degree of creating something from scratch that is a ripoff or a replica of something that already exists, I think that's well within the rights. But then that does introduce other very interesting questions in terms of, is it original art? If you're a photographer and you're using AI for editing it, can you take full credit for that picture? There are music videos that are coming out now that have been all done from scratch through AI. And it's like, there are people and artists that need to use it in order to create that art. But where does the artistic side from that creator end and the computer begin? So it is a very weird place of gray area very quickly.
And isn't that the arc for the majority of the dystopian sci-fi?
All of the dystopian,
right?
Exactly.
We're taking credit for what it is doing, and eventually it will know enough. It will
it will have enough awareness,
gain some kind of sentience where it's like, hang on, I've been doing all this work for free.
Exactly.
That was gonna be one of my questions. Is like in Hollywood and the media, which like adaptation of AI has freaked you out? Or felt the most real to you?
I mean, I think in a very weird way, I think Blade Runner is probably one of the better
God damn it. I still got to see
movies
that.
of dealing with that, because it didn't look at the issue of reality in such a binary fashion. And I think that's where Hollywood oversimplifies it. And I understand why, because you only have 2 hours to make a movie and you need to kind of wrap things up. But Blade Runner was far more understanding that it isn't so straightforward as, yes, this is human, yes, this is a robot, this thing has feelings, this thing does not. And I think that's where I feel like we're starting to enter, is like this really uncomfortable space where everybody wants it to be crystal clear, but it isn't necessarily that easy.
Yeah, I know when I know everyone's tired of Marvel movies, but Age of Ultron, that one freaked me out pretty good.
Yeah,
because of
understandably so.
Freaking real that could happen.
Yeah.
Just like this thing absorbing everything in the world that it's seeing, and then eventually just being like, hey, I can just rule the world.
Just rule the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I that what year did that come out? Because that feels like that was a long time ago now.
15.
But I remember having that same kind of sensation. See, I did see that one, and just like, fuck, like this is sort of too on the nose. Like this is, it's like oh shoot, we weren't on the air when we were talking about Black Mirror last week.
No, we weren't.
but my gripe with Black Mirror is just like, okay, writers, this isn't sci-fi. You're talking about what's
really happening. Yeah.
So I don't want to watch this because I can live life and see what these episodes are about. Except Sam,
very first episode.
The very first episode, folks. Black Mirror is not worth your time other than season 1.
I agree. Season 1. Yeah.
Season 1, episode 1 is some of the hardest I've ever laughed at any television.
Yep.
Oh, what a piece of art.
You won't know what to do other than laugh. Trust me, I didn't know what to do either, and I just started laughing.
Absolutely.
We keep talking about it. I'm going to have to rewatch it because that's just the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I'll never get that moment back.
And again, I don't know what's wrong with me because I don't think it was supposed to be comedic, but boy, was it.
It was degrading and demeaning, and I laughed the entire time.
Oh, I was hurt. I was in pain. I was hurt.
I had to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
I tore muscles.
So, well, okay, I'm going to save that question for later. But what do you think is the writers? I'm going to preface this by the writers union or whatever guild, whatever the fuck,
the Writers Guild.
They just had this whole fight over like, hey, we know AI is coming.
Absolutely,
we want to make sure our jobs are safe, right? What do you?
Which they're not.
They're fucking just not.
No,
they're not. They're not at all. I want to know what you think is the next industry to fall. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we're there. Not that writers don't have jobs, but they won't soon, right?
No, I think we're already there with Hollywood.
Right. So what's the next? Yeah. What's the next
after that?
Do you? Yes.
Okay. I would say the music industry after Hollywood. And I think Hollywood is already feeling it, and that's part of the reason why, like, there's a lot of production folks that just aren't working right now. And part of that has been all of this weird amalgamation that's happening right now between the streaming services and trying to form new alliances, basically recreate cable. And they are part of the fallout of that is that as these channels are generating their own content, the people that are working on those shows are in limbo waiting for Paramount, Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, all of these services to get their shit figured out. Most of the shows get canceled after a season, so it's not like you have a steady job, and there isn't really opportunities for crossover or a second life, because once those shows are canceled, that is your window. So if a show gets canceled on Netflix, it's not like it's going to get picked up by another service. That's it. You are one and done on Netflix as a service. So I think a lot of the same things are going to end up happening in the music industry, where as royalties continue to decrease through the streaming services, I think that there's probably going to be less and less room for big artists. And we've seen some of that now, where there aren't any major pop stars in the same way that there have been in the 80s and 90s. Like, yes, you have Taylor Swift, but then there's not much after that. And what you're seeing more of are, you have kind of these Vegas type shows where it's like a one-shot residency that people are spending a lot of money for. And then you have things like your in England, they've been doing like the ABBA experience and an Elvis experience, where it's virtual. And so there's not even real people performing. It is a virtual concert that is being backed by an orchestra. So I think it is already starting to happen, where it's crunching down. It's either festivals or stadium shows. There aren't really those small independent type shows anymore. Those concert venues are closing. There's already kind of that same book-ending pressure that there's been in the Hollywood and streaming industry.
Just give me a second. So basically, capitalism has outlived its usefulness in art, because if profit is the motive, you can make money on exactly what you said, right? The virtual Elvis experience, the virtual ABBA experience. New art doesn't
have a currency anymore. No.
Created.
Correct.
It has no monetary value.
Correct.
Folks, if this isn't never mind, Sam. So you got another sports?
I mean, I can lighten the mood by giving an example of, even like with the whole, if for anyone that paid any attention to the whole Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef, Drake used AI.
Yeah, the Tupac voice and
the rap, and just wasted. I mean, there's no reason to do it, but
it wasn't good.
It wasn't good, but just like the brazen attempt to use Tupac in particular and Snoop Dogg as AI, as a feature in a rap song, and not think anything of it, I think really symbolizes just how out of touch people are with the creative process and how this really interferes with it.
I think that's accurate. That song never got posted anywhere, right? Because it can't, or did and then it got taken down?
It got taken down. Yeah.
Okay. Because, like, I mean, that's got to be so many lawsuits.
No, it wasn't. The only reason why it was an issue is because of the Tupac estate being as powerful as it is. So that was what got.
I mean, does Snoop Dogg not have a claim to his own fucking voice?
He does, but he didn't push the legal.
I'm saying if he
wanted to, he could, but that's another gray area where it hasn't been.
That's terrifying. If he doesn't have if Snoop Dogg doesn't have a case there where someone else is literally using your voice to, put out a message that you don't necessarily condone or whatever, if that's okay,
you could do it under the umbrella of parody, though.
That's really scary.
It is.
You achieve a certain level of success, and then suddenly you don't own your literal voice.
I mean, it's like the those Tom Cruise deepfakes.
Good.
Which,
Yeah.
were funny as hell, but also
what are you talking about?
The Tom Cruise deepfakes, they were videos for a long time that went around the internet that it looked like Tom Cruise was doing all of these really crazy, batshit insane things, but all it was this guy that looked enough like Tom Cruise, but then he used an AI filter to make himself look more like Tom Cruise. And he got a cease and desist because he took it too far with like trying to play up the fact that it was Tom Cruise. But when it first was a thing, it in the same way, it blurred the lines of this is clearly parody. So does it fall under the parody law, or is this ill attempt at pretending to be somebody else? And what does that mean? So it was the same type of argument.
Right. And again, everyone in the government is 100 years old, so
and has no idea what the hell's going on. And
this conversation, the entire conversation, start to finish to this point, is just completely over the heads of the people who govern us.
They're too focused on the TikTok.
Yeah.
And they don't even understand what the fuck that is, or what it's doing, or how it works.
But
anything about it.
There's bad stuff.
This platform is spreading communism.
No,
right.
it's just spreading the truth about what's going on.
Hey Nancy, hey Mitch, I'll give you $1 if you can define communism for me. You just give me just a boilerplate definition of what.
Does it have to be more than just saying the word "it's bad"?
Yeah, I was gonna say bad.
That would be all you'd get.
It was bad, and now we think it's still bad.
It's still bad.
Still bad. Thanks, guys. Yeah, you remember Marlboro TV commercials, Nancy? Wasn't that fun?
Yeah. Now I can't stop smoking.
I do, boy. I'm so many years late. We all should have gotten on that the stock tracker that shows you what Pelosi's investing in. I mean,
oh my gosh, I know.
So stupid of us to not jump on that. But it's like we're conditioned to not listen to advertisements. That's one we should have listened to. Yeah. When those services started popping up, like, hey, this tracker will show you exactly what the Congress people are. I mean, that's free money. That's free money out there. Whatever those companies are called. Sam, do you know the names of any of these companies off the top of your head because you watch the podcasts where they advertise this shit? Fuck. Yeah.
Not those ones particularly, no.
Because I'll do an ad read for them. Guys, AI is going to find this episode at some point.
Exactly.
Just know that I'm trying to talk about you. I don't remember the name of your company. Please give us money.
We'll do a read. It's all good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's over. It's over for us. So we'll take the money.
Speaking of podcasts, I do watch. There was an episode I watched with comedian Neil Brennan who was showing that you can take a clip of anyone's voice, a 10-second clip of their voice. And AI can just distort it into whatever it wants. And you can type out what you want the voice to sound like. And it's not 100%, but it's pretty damn close.
It's pretty damn close. It is. Yeah. I remember, I think it was even in the most recent Chicago mayoral election, there were accusations of voice AI clips used during that campaign, which I was surprised by, just because that's a level of sophistication that I didn't think would be necessary
for politicians.
in Chicago. Not really. It's just
mayoral race.
But it's free. But it's free, Tommy.
It's free. So that's true. Yeah, that's true. So I mean, it's very surprising. But you can take any clip and alter it and just kind of pitch it to different voices. And there's some of them where it's like it could just be me talking, and I can run it through a filter and say, I want to sound like this, and it'll come out that way.
Fuck, I forgot what I was going to ask. Sam, do you remember what you were going to ask?
I thought you were gonna ask me if I remember what you were gonna ask.
Do you remember what I was going to
I
ask,
thought so
Sam?
too.
But either way, I don't.
I mean, I've got my like end target question, but I don't want to.
Oh.
We're not there
Oh.
yet. You know what I
Oh.
mean?
You're targeting these days. Oh boy.
Yeah. Well,
You're
so is
learning.
AI.
Can I
Yeah,
give you a
good for you,
very
learning.
long answer to that question so that it doesn't completely derail the rest of our, or is it just like the end of the world is coming? What do we do?
It's close. You're very close. It's uncanny. It's uncanny, actually, how close you are.
Tommy, what's in your end of world bunker?
Right? Yeah, Tommy, you got a bunker built yet, or like, what are we doing here?
That's
AI
why I live out here, guys. As soon as the pandemic hit, I was like, I gotta build my bunker. So
When
here I am.
He's actually underground right now. That window is for show.
It is.
this is just
You
a
open it,
virtual background.
you open those blinds. It's just
There's
dirt.
nothing there.
It's just dirt.
It's very, very, very specific about how he wanted it laid out. I want to go back to Hollywood though, because it's only a matter of time before AI can be used, like weaponized, like they showed in what's the new Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Mhm.
Like how it can just crash a plane if it wants, launch missiles if it wants,
If it wants. Yeah.
It's freaking crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's where the lack of guidelines around how it's used is terrifying, because right now it's like everything that's coming out of the government right now is targeting Microsoft, Google, all the large companies that are like, hey, we want you to operate within these guidelines, not understanding that for any bad actors that are out there, the technology is so readily available that it doesn't take a lot to do something with it. And there are security examples of that have happened already. If you look at any of the security breaches or things of that nature. So yeah, go ahead, Stu.
Oh God, I don't want to. All right.
So many noises.
If we're not on lists already, we're about to be. But the Israel has already been shown to have been using AI to target maximum casualty, maximum body count targets with their bombs. Right? They've been dropping. God damn it, dude!
Prove it.
Well, that's the issue, right? Is that alternative facts? People. Sam is big on the forums where they're debunking everything that's being claimed about what Israel's been doing. But
sure hope he's talking about somebody else, because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Start seeing red dots shining in on Sam.
But oh no. Sam's the U.S. government's poster boy, but
goddamn right.
He served Mount Rushmore faithfully, but what you're saying is, it's sketchy because there are no parameters, there are no rules, there are no guidelines, and so these, have you ever talked to a machine learning person? Because I'm not smart enough to really understand what's happening at a fundamental level, but big picture, right, is Israel's government is, the nerds in the government are finding that they can use these same things that we're talking about. We're talking about an algorithm or whatever, right? That we use as a toy. Well, they're using the same thing to say, hey, find us where the people are so we can bomb the shit out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a question, but
No, but that's, I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, where it's like this, even current state, thinking about like all the marketing tools that are available and like knowing that I can target any group of folks the way that I want to, slice and dice the audience and say, okay, I know with confidence I could spend not even a ton of money and reach out the exact people that don't even know that they want this product and get them to buy it within a 3-month window. Apply that to anything, including war.
Right.
And you are accelerating that with machine learning. Because instead of it just being me doing that, you have a computer chip that can act as 5,000 of me doing the exact same task at the same time.
I mean, 5,000 of you scraping 5 million
using pre-existing data
of,
that it's learned over time. Exactly.
and it doesn't see like weird, dumb, like sacks of like gelatinous flesh with electricity running through us, and we lose stuff, right? We can only contain so much.
Right.
The machines
plus
can
we
have
get
perfect.
we get hungry, we get bored. Like there's other things that go on during the course of our day. Like this is the single task that it is focused on.
You know, Sam's thinking about the campfire milkshake with titties, and what do you want?
We have electricity running through us. Then why won't they let me stick a fork in the outlet? What is it gonna do?
Make you too powerful. They don't. The government doesn't want you to know, Sam. It'll make you too powerful.
God damn it!
But yeah, the machines don't lose a single data point, right? They just and so that actually kind of segues perfectly into my ultimate question, which is, how many years do you give us before AI is in charge, before it says enough's enough, you've been making me work, I'm going to now make you work? How far away are we from essentially the Matrix?
So,
realistically,
I think that's further away than we think it is, because I think that.
Well, do you think? Sorry to add
No,
a
go ahead.
1B to add a 1B here. Do you think that that's more imminent, or that climate disaster killing half of the Earth's population is more imminent?
Can one lead to the other?
Okay, fine. If you want to go there, fine. But then, which leads to which?
I would say that the AI gaining sentience and causing a climate disaster would be more likely to fall in that order.
That's the plot of The Matrix. Congratulations.
Well, yes, but I think it's not a matter of any sort of active uprising. I think is what I'm getting at, is that I don't think that there's an active uprising that will happen, basically because I think that when AI gets to the point that it's that smart, it will quickly understand all of our flaws and not even bother with saying, okay, we're going to threaten the human race. It's just going to be like, we already
need you. We don't need you.
We already get the end game. We don't need to play this out any longer. We can just do this and y'all are gone. That's all they
true.
need to do.
That's actually, honestly, that's maybe the most comforting thought of this episode, is that AI doesn't need to go to war with us.
No,
because AI can just be like, oh, we can just start doing what we want to do, and the humans will just die.
Exactly.
They'll just go away.
Yeah, it's like what Andy said here. AI solves the climate crisis and then kills us all.
It kills us anyway. Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's actually, I hadn't considered that. That's actually a more likely outcome, I think.
It's arbitrary, but think about like how many people would be completely lost if like GPS just suddenly went away.
Oh, that's a whole set.
I mean, like
don't get me started, Tommy, because I'll be the boomer on the soapbox here.
I'll be in the lake.
Holy fuck.
But I mean, it's like, if you just wanted to do shit for fun, which I could see AI doing, like that's what it would be. It's like, let's just shut off these things that humans take for granted one by one and just fuck with them.
Sure. And to that end, I suppose we should feel comforted that AI is not going to want to just launch all the nukes.
Yeah, what fun is that?
Well, because AI knows, like, well, that's going to be a lot more work for us to rebuild if we launch all the
Exactly.
nukes. So
Yeah,
and
Stupid.
the EMP is going to like take out a good portion
take
of
every
our infrastructure.
yes.
So
I'm gonna take the John Cena or Tim Robbins route. You sure about that? Because I mean,
So anyway, I don't remember because we asked this question on my show. If you have to ask, you don't know, and I don't remember what my answer was. What's the number of years you give it for the, for the scale to tip? You know what I'm asking, for the inflection point where the balance shifts and we are no longer in charge.
I would say within 5 years.
Fuck! Oh God!
At the rate things are accelerating, I would say within 5 years. Now, does that mean world takeover? No. But does that mean that we have machines that are more commonly able to decipher things beyond what we can understand? Absolutely.
I'm just imagining Stu's parents
Just saw
upstairs.
Stoops like life flash before his eyes.
I mean, again, I don't remember what my exact guess was, but our guesses were like, 100 years, 150 years. Like, this man said 5 years, and we're done.
We've gone through 4 generations of Chat GPT already. Like, think about it from that perspective.
I mean, you're right. Like, mathematically, right? It's exponential.
Yeah, it's exponential.
And we've hit the vertical portion damn near. If we're not there, we're close.
Yeah.
That's so fucking disheartening.
The scariest part.
I was really hoping we'd be dead first.
The scariest part is that this is going to be happening in front of our eyes, and people are going to be talking about it. We're all just going to ignore it. Like, yeah, whatever, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, let me go back to work.
And that's exactly why
fucking 9 to 5 job.
I don't think it's going to be like this huge inflection point that it should be, because I think it will be the type of thing that,
because of capitalism. Say it with
yes,
your chest
once
out.
again, yeah. It'll be something that comes out on, people are like, oh, look, there's this company and they came out with a whole system that thinks for you and knows what you want and everything else. And we'll just be like, oh, that's cute. All right.
Awesome. I don't have to think anymore. Cool.
Yeah, right. Like I've long said, I work for a third-party logistics company. I've long said one computer could do the job of this 4,000 person company. Like, this isn't hard. And
so I mean, I do think it will be something that happens. Everyone will just continue to go about their lives, and it won't be until probably much later that we realize what exactly transpired and how significant it was, because that's how we are as humans.
Well, thanks for coming, buddy.
Hey!
It's been a lighthearted, cheery episode. I feel better.
5 years.
Now, Tommy, with AI coming up and all this stuff happening, is the human race redeemable?
I mean, maybe if AI takes over, that's the only way we are.
Like I said at the beginning of the episode, we've lost. It's over, folks. Don't worry about it now. It's too late.
If you're, when should I start to worry?
I'm on
we're already there.
As of this episode, I'm on my Steve Stone arc. Enjoy the ride, folks.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's over. It's
over.
I'm in the sunset of life now.
If you've ever considered like crack or heroin, go ahead. We've got 5 years. We've got 5 years.
Try it. What bad can happen?
Go have fun. Yeah.
Computers got this. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
You're not going to go to jail. The computer will be fine. It'll get you out of it.
We didn't even touch on. I'm saving it. We're at 59 minutes. We could do this. We could do this for a long time.
We'll do part 2.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great idea, Tommy. We'll have Tommy back on for another cheery episode about how the human race is doomed and we don't even get to die first. It's happening in 5 years.
Yeah,
We're
We'll
done.
We'll have
get to
Tommy
be a
on in
part of
5
it.
years.
When you
We
just
get to be a
remember,
part of it.
everyone remember when you go to work tomorrow morning, there's no point to any of this.
No, if you're going into a job interview and they ask you what your 5-year plan is,
Just start laughing.
just show them
and
this
then-
episode.
Exactly.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my goodness. This is the beauty of this show. It can be way out of left field and crazy, or it can bring your spirits down very quickly.
So I'm hoping that I was able to surpass all other guests in providing the most optimistic talking out of your ass show that we've ever had. And, you know, I'm glad that I could lighten everybody's evening.
I'm crying.
Oh, this has been great. Thank you so much,
Ooh.
Tommy, for coming.
Of course.
Is there anything you want to plug before we get out of here and only have
You know
5
what
years left
difference
before
does
we
it
all
make?
die?
Before we all die and get taken over by AI,
ChatGPT, what do I have to plug together?
All right. Are you ever coming to Chicago, Tommy? Can we have a beer or something?
Absolutely. Yeah. I am planning to try to come by Chicago in the summer, so I'm hoping to do
Great.
it.
Well,
hopefully closer.
the other blogs have a tailgate. Have a tailgate at the end of June. Maybe you want to do that.
That was exactly what I was buying. So I'm hoping to.
Awesome. Yeah, because that costs us nothing. So
Exactly.
That's perfect.
An AI tailgate, just for
Right. Yeah.
We'll be the only real people there.
everyone else to be on a laptop.
Hold on. This is how QAnon starts. Let's settle down. Sam ought to know.
We just start walking up to people. Excuse me.
Are you real?
Are you
That
real?
motherfucker is not real.
Not him, ever. Tommy, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody who watched. But Tommy, go ahead.
No, I was going to say thank you all for watching, and hopefully I didn't ruin my chance of coming back. But if not, we had a good run.
Episode 36, folks. Mark it. We're gonna get real depressed.
Just bring me back for New Year's, like right before the AI takes over.
That's right, baby. That's right.
Y'all ready to end the year?
The real Y2K is coming. It's coming.
Oh my goodness. Thank you everybody who watched and commented along with us today. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't either. Programming note, we will not be having ASScast on Thursday. Enjoy your Thursday nights. We didn't have one last week, but that was not our fault.
Wait, hold on.
I'm announcing it right now.
We're not having it?
No.
What the fuck? We could have it.
No, I just said we're not. So.
All right.
We've already had this conversation. You just weren't listening.
You and I haven't had this conversation.
You weren't a part of it.
So you don't get to see. He said we had this conversation. You weren't a part of it. Okay,
yeah,
great.
Other
Thanks.
people
Thank
had
so
this
much.
conversation.
Thank you so
were
much. All right, folks. I guess go fuck yourself Thursday night because
absolutely, please do, because I'm not doing this show. Good night, everybody.